Hello everyone, myself Deepa Singh, working as Assistant Professor in Gandhia School of Pharmacy, SG Jaipur. Today we continue our next topic, that is aerosol. Aerosol part we cover today quality control test, different evaluation parameter that is required for aerosol before coming in the market. In previous lecture we already covered that complete description, including introduction, different types of the aerosol, production procedure, and propellant. All these we covered previous lecture. So today we discuss about quality control test of the aerosol, how we perform these evaluation parameter quality control test of the aerosol. This is the topic of industrial pharmacy 1 subject, 5th semester subject. Before starting this topic, you should know about some basic object or learning object of this lecture. In this lecture, learning object first is brief introduction about the aerosol. Evaluation parameter of the aerosol. First, if you don't know about what is aerosol, then you don't perform the evaluation parameter. First, you know about basic detail of the aerosol. So you should know complete description about the brief introduction about the aerosol. You can go through that previous lecture also. And next is evaluation parameter. In this different tests or different evaluation parameter which involve for testing of how you perform these tests with their procedure, all this covered in this lecture. So this is learning object. After this quality control test, including the testing of, here in propellant, we are not performing a single compile test, but we are required to perform the different tests or according to different parts or according to aerosol type. So in this, propellant is the major gas or major ingredient in your aerosol, we can say that. So we perform the test of propellant, valve, actuator, and dip tube. It is also part of your aerosol, so we can perform individual tests on the valve, actuator, and dip tube. Next is container, overall container test. Next is weight checking. According to your requirement or filling condition, weight is okay or not. We just confirm that weight. Next is leak testing. In this leak testing, is there any leakage is observed or not, or the product is maybe remove or leaking through that particular container or not. Next is spray testing. In spray testing, we perform the spray pattern or check that the spray pattern according to requirement or according to setting or not. So these are the tests that we check the quality of propellant. Next, first test is the propellant. So paper pressure and density of the propellant are determined and compared with the specification sheet. You know that we already discussed that the propellant are the gaseous system. It maybe occupy upper part of your propellant or any other part. It does have a specific vapor pressure and density. So in this test, we are checking that propellant vapor pressure and density of that particular propellant. And according to this, we are comparing this propellant in this sheet. And the parameter first is identification, and identification tested by gas chromatography and IR spectroscopy. These are the tests that you can easily identify a propellant type or identification of the propellant. Next is purity and acceptability. According to this purity and acceptability, you can use that propellant or accept that propellant is good quality, don't have any other problem. It have a good purity and acceptability is also good. Next is moisture, halogen, non-volatile residue determination. In this purity and acceptability, we are determining normally moisture, halogen, and non-volatile residue. Next is valve, actuator, and dip tube test. So in this, we are performing the test of the aerosol container part of the aerosol. In this, we are performing that test or check that all part of your aerosol are okay or not according to our requirements. So in this valve, actuator, and dip tube test, first sampling is according to a standard procedure as found in military standard, that is MIL STD 105D. This is a specific guideline that require for sampling of your valve or any other part of the aerosol. According to this standard, we are checking the valve condition, and it is a military standard, that is MIL STD 105D. And for meter dose aerosol valve, test method by WLOP and aerosol specification committee. Means about test is for all, we can say that for meter dose. Some aerosols are for meter dose. In this, we already discussed that in previous lecture that some some aerosols are available in a meter time, that a specific or set or required amount of the material get expelled out. So in this meter dose, we are checking that specific amount or the specific quantity that we apply the pressure, then how much material is get expelled out. So some specific test is also required for mid-dose aerosol wall, and test method are developed aerosol specification committee. There's an aerosol specification committee also. So these specify the aerosol specification, and in this industrial pharmaceutical technology section, academia of pharmaceutical science, these are the three committee that decide the aerosol specification. One is aerosol specification committee, second is industrial pharmaceutical technology section, and third one is academia of pharmaceutical science. So in this, the objective of this test is to determine attitude of valve delivery and delivery degree of uniformity between the individual valve. Means how your material get deliver or expel out the container, and the uniformity, it is uniform in nature or not. Some particle will get more in size or large in size, and some get small in size, or form or spray pattern is also not uniform. So in this test, we are just confirming that your wall discharge material or your formulation discharge is uniform or not, as well as magnetic wall that discharge uniformly or not. And the standard test were proposed to rule out the variation in this wall test. There is some standard specification. According to this, you can perform these standard test or wall variation. You can check easily. According to this, you say that your aerosol or wall or actuator and part of the aerosol is okay or not according to requirement. Next, there is a test solution. We are performing these tests on three aerosol. In this, solution A, solution B, and solution C. Only the concentration of the aerosol gets changed, and ingredient that is used in aerosol gets changed. In this solution A, ingredient is available in percentage weight by weight. So test solution A is containing isopropyl myristate is 0.10%, test B contains 0.10%, and test C contains 0.10%. So next is dichlorodiafluoromethane. Test A solution contains 49.95%, test B contains 25%, and test C contains 50%. Means from these aerosol, according to these three types of the solution propellant, we can say that major ingredient is your gas or your propellant, and only the concentration gets changed according to your requirement or according to type of the propellant. So we just take all the propellant, and concentration will decide according to your requirement. And next, in this third ingredient is dichlorotetrafluoroethane. Test solution is 49.95 for A solution, for B solution is 25, and C solution is 24.75%. Next is dichloromonofluoromethane. Here test A and test B solution don't contain this trichloromonofluoromethane, but test solution C contain 24.9% solution. And next is alcohol USP. Test solution A, there's no alcohol USP is present, but in test solution B, it is present 49.9%, and test solution C, there's no concentration of this alcohol. Next is a specific gravity at 25 degree. And in this, test solution A is 1.384, test solution B for 1.092, and test solution C for 1.388. So this is a three solution that available in the market. You can say that in aerosol form, only the concentration gets changed, but all are having the gas concentration containing the gas in major amount. Only the according to requirement type of the aerosol, the concentration of that particular propellant and gases gets changed. Otherwise, it contains large amount of the propellant. Next is testing procedure, how you perform this test. In this, take 25 ball and place on the container filled with a specified test solution. Means entire aerosol you can take, and it is a filled with your specific formulation or material. We are taking 25 ball which is attached to aerosol. Means we can say that we are taking 25 aerosol which is having a ball attached, and formulation is also filled in that particular aerosol container. And actuator with 0.02 inch orifice is attached. Actuator is also attached, and there's a specific distance and how much is distance taken to attach that particular aerosol. In this, for actuators, 0.020 inch orifice is required. Next is temperature. Temperature is 25 degree plus minus 1 degree Celsius is required. And the wall is actuator to fullest extent for 2 seconds and wait. Means you can extend this wall or fully extend this wall for at least 2 seconds and for according to weight. And again, the ball is actuated for 2 seconds and wait. Hence, every time you just maybe say that extend that particular wall that attached to your aerosol, and you repeat this procedure 2 to 3 times. Every time you extend this wall and wait that particular actuator, and again you repeat this test for 2 seconds and wait that particular aerosol. And after this difference that represent in delivery in mg, there is some material get expelled out, so there may be chances that there's a difference in their total weight and after that expelling weight. So you check the difference between that particular weight after the delivery in mg. Next is repeat this for a total of 2 individual delivery from each of the test 25. Means repeat this procedure for all the equipment that you're taking for 25 tests in this experiment. So you perform these tests for all the equipment, all the aerosols, and check that how much differences takes place. So in this individual delivery weight in mg, we are calculate means how much material, how much formulation get expelled out or delivered out when we apply the pressure to that particular aerosol. So when we apply the pressure to that particular aerosol, so the different specific amount of the material get expelled out through that container. So in this, we are checking that in individual aerosol and in every individual delivery, how much material get expelled out. So there's one formula. There's a ratio of wall delivery per actuator in μg, and next is specification gravity of the test solution. And wall acceptance is delivery is 54 microliter or less, then limit is 15%. And next delivery is 55 to 200, then we can see that limit is 10%. So according to this test or according to this procedure, we can specify the acceptance limit or how we perform this test for actuator wall delivery and how material get expelled out and which quantity, according to the quantity, how much get is expelled out. Next is of the individual delivery, and if 4 or more outside the limit, means if suppose you are taking 25 aerosol and these 25 aerosol is rejected and fail the test, then we are taking again 25 aerosol, and this is a total is 50 aerosol. And in previous one we are taking a 2, and in this we are taking 4 sample of aerosol. If 4 or more than 4 outside the limit, then wall is rejected, or you place the wall and change the wall, apply another one wall. And if 3 delivery are outside the limit, another 25 wall are tested. Lot is rejected if more than 1 delivery is outside the specification. Hence, if 3 delivery outside the limit, then we can say that another 25 wall are tested, and a lot is rejected if more than 1 delivery is outside the specification out of these 25 aerosols that we are selecting in second batch. And if 2 delivery from 1 wall are beyond the limit, another 25 wall are tested. Means if 2 delivery in 1 wall is limit between that particular condition, then another 20 wall is tested. Lot is rejected if more than 1 delivery is outside the specification. This is a condition for a specification, how you accept that particular aerosol for your final formulation, or it have a good quality ball or actuator and delivery rate or expel rate is good or not. So this is a procedure. Next test is for container. Container is also required. Good quantity is free from any microbes or corrosion free or don't have any leakage. So container test is also required. In container test are examined for the defects in lining. There's any defects or not in that particular container in the lining. And next is quality control aspects, including degree of conductivity, how it can expel out the product, or quality aspect, it is good or not. Electric current as measured by exposed metal. And next is glass container examined for flues. Next is weight checking. Weight checking is also very necessary because if we are filled a specific amount of weight, there may be chances that due to leakage or any other proper arrangement of in the container is not done. So there may be chances that it can get expelled out or evaporate out the gases. So weight checking is also very necessary. You can confirm these weight that according to requirement or according to specific weight or not. So in weight checking, it is done by periodically by adding the filling line to empty aerosol container, which after filling with concentrated and remove and weight. So same procedure used for checking the weight of the propellant being added. Means the weight checking is not possible with your material. First, you remove that particular weight from the container, empty that aerosol container, weight that particular container, which you remove through that container. And after this, you weigh that empty container and weigh that the concentration that is present in that container and check that according to requirement it is filled or not. and either it is less or more. And same procedure you can also follow for checking of the propellant being added in that particular container. It is according to sufficient amount or not, or maybe get increase or decrease during filling. Next test is for leaking test. Leaking test is also for aerosol, because in this we are confirming that your aerosol is good quantity or not, there's any leakage present or not. If there's any leakage is present, it may get contaminated, or maybe chances that before coming in market it get completely empty, or also affect or contaminate your surrounding aerosol or other aerosol that is packed with that particular container. So in this leak testing, it means of the checking of crimping of the wall, detect the defective container due to leakage, and it is done by measuring the cream's dimension and comparing, mainly with the help of cream dimension or comparing with cream's dimension. We can easily check that any leakage is present or not. In this, final testing of wall closure is done by passing the filled container through the water bath, or otherwise we can also perform these tests with the help of water bath. In this, we are putting the aerosol in water bath and check that any bubble is produced or not in this aerosol. If any bubble is produced in this water, then we can say that your aerosol is not having a good quality. It have a certain leakage if some bubbles are occurred. And you can also perform these tests like some adding of color solution or maybe ink solution into the water, and put these aerosol into that water. And if there's any leakages present, then these ink or color solution may be entered to your aerosol at a specific time period to check that there's any color solution is present or not aerosol. If there's any color solution present in aerosol, then we can say that if there's any leakage or leaking of the aerosol is occur. Next is the spray testing. Spray testing is also very important according to consumer acceptance, because it is maybe according to requirement, maybe spray pattern, foam pattern, or their expelling out capacity. So in this, we are taking that test for checking the spray testing. And in this, most pharmaceutical aerosols are 100% spray tested. All aerosols before coming in a market, make sure that your aerosol have a spray tested or proper spray pattern, and it can spray your formulation in a uniform way. So this is required for 100% aerosol. The spray pattern is tested, and these are to clear the dip tube of the pure propellant and pure concentrate. Dip tube is responsible for expelling out the propellant to this particular container. So in this, we are confirming that there's a dip tube is properly attached or not. If it is, there's a defect in this particular dip tube, so it may be change the propellant pattern or spray pattern of your propellant. So just confirm that dip tube with your propellant or not, or concentrate. Next in this is check for defect in wall and the spray pattern. Means you can also check that there's some defect or not in wall as well as the spray pattern. Next is evaluation test for particular formulation or aerosol. In this, we are performing different tests. In this test, first is flammability and compressibility. In flammability and compressibility, we are checking flash point. Test is physical-chemical characteristics. In physical-chemical characteristics, we are checking vapor pressure, density, moisture content. All are the tests for overall container or for individual part, or maybe we can say that for propellant, or as well as your body part of your aerosol. So we perform these tests in one by one. In this next C part is performance test. So in performance test, aerosol wall discharge, how it can discharge the material, spray pattern, dosage with metered wall, how the metered wall is attached, and required amount of material is expelled out or not from that particular metered wall dosage, net content, foam stability, particle size determination, and biological testing in this therapeutic activity and toxicity study, because many of the formulation or many of the aerosols are for particular disease or for particular therapeutic effect. So in this, we are just confirming that it produce or showing or not that particular desired therapeutic effect or not, or showing more toxic or unwanted effect or not. And in this, we confirm all the therapeutic as well as toxicity effect of your formulation. In this, flame and combustibility, first test is flash test. In this flash test, there's one test apparatus required for flash test. In the apparatus, tag open cap apparatus is present. This is a tag open cap apparatus is present. Product is 25 degree Faraday and test liquid. This product specific temperature is required and product should be in 25 Faraday in liquid, and temperature is allowed to increase slowly with the temperature at which vapors ignite is called as flash point. Means you put your sample through this cap apparatus and initial temperature is 25 degrees Celsius, not 25 degrees Celsius, but 25 Faraday. And after putting the sample through this apparatus, you start a rising temperature of your formulation. At particular point, temperature get increase or slowly increase, and temperature get vapors ignite is called as flash point. In this, we check that at which point it get flash out or vapor get ignite. Next is flame projection. In flame projection, product is spray for 4 seconds into the flame. Extended exact length is measured. Means we are applying the material on formulation onto the specific flame or into the, maybe we can say that container where the flame is present. So in this flame, we apply the material for 4 seconds, and after 4 seconds, we check that applying of that particular material, how much get extended in the frame or how much it can easily catch the fire. This test is mainly for check that how much it can easily catch the fire. So we apply the material for, onto the air at 4 seconds. After that, check that extended time period that get extend out for a particular 4 seconds. Next is physicochemical characteristics, and this there are different tests, or according to these tests, there is a methods that you can easily check that particular condition. And physicochemical characteristics, properties, vapor pressure, density, moisture. These are the tests for physicochemical characteristics. And this property first is vapor pressure. A method is used for calculating the vapor pressure is pressure gauge. Can punctuating device. These are used for vapor pressure checking. Next, for density checking, in this hydrometer and pycnometer mainly are used. And moisture containing, in this moisture containing for physiochemical characteristics, we are also using two methods. One is Karl-Fischer method, second is gas chromatography. And for identification of the propellant, we are using another two method, that is gas chromatography or IR spectroscopy. So these are the method that used for checking the physicochemical characteristics of a particular aerosol. According to type of the test, you can easily pick out any one of the method and check that aerosol condition. Next is performance test. In this performance test, we are checking that your aerosol in this aerosol wall discharge rate mainly we check, and as well as the spray pattern, how it can discharge, and according to a requirement it can discharge or not, discharge pattern is uniform or not, as well as the spray pattern we can also check in performance test, because when we see the customer acceptance, so that customer check overall property of your aerosol, it discharge properly or not, expel out material or properly or not, as well as pattern of that particular aerosol in uniform or not, and maybe large or small, or maybe effective formulation. So in this aerosol wall discharge test, first is content of the aerosol product of a known weight is discharged for a specific period of a time. Suppose you are applying a pressure to your aerosol and a specific content or specific material that in this you weight that particular discharge material at a specific period of a time. And next is by reweighing the container after a time of the limit and discharge in the weight per time dispersed with the discharge rate. Means you apply the pressure and expel out the material a specific time period, and after that you take that particular material that expel out and weight the particular concentration, and after that weighting you reweight the container or reweight the aerosol, and in this you check that there's a specific limit or not. If there's a change in weight per dispersed heat, the discharge ratio, that is gram per second. Next is the spray pattern. In the spray pattern, the method is based on the piece of the paper, and that when treated, the particles will strike the paper and cause the dye to go in the solution and to be absorbed onto the paper, giving a record of the spray pattern comparison. It is a very simple test. You can apply the pressure and a specific amount of material concentration that spread out that particular page. In this, you are taking a blank page or white page so that you can easily observe that particular pattern of your spray or your aerosol. You apply the pressure. After applying the pressure, a specific amount of the concentration of aerosol get expelled out onto the paper. In this, you check that the property or expelling out of that particular pattern of aerosol is according to a requirement or not. And in this, we are just confirming that it is in a proper pattern or not onto the page. And it is maybe scattered or maybe spray on a large area. So this is a test for checking the spray pattern of your formulation. It is in a good spray quantity or not. Next is dosage with meter wall. These tests is only for those container, those aerosol who have a metered wall or meter type of the dosage form. And meter dose means when we apply the pressure, specific amount of the set amount of the concentration get expelled out. So in this, we are checking that meter dose concentration is proper according to requirement or not. This test is only for meter dose aerosol. And in this, reproducibility of a dosage form can determine by assay technique, means you expel out the particular concentration at single dose or maybe by expelling out the concentration, then perform the assay of that particular concentration, how much material or how much concentration present at that particular contained, because when we apply the pressure, material get expelled out, and this is not a complete concentration of your drug. Maybe other excipient or other propellant is also present that particular expelling out material. So we are just performing the assay. In this, with the help of assay, we are performing check that how much concentration of a drug is present in that particular propellant, and with the help of these assay tests, just confirm that this amount of concentration of a drug is present to your aerosol. Next is accurate weighing of a filled content followed by dispensing of a several dose. And there may be chances that some error is occur, or your aerosol show some dispensing of different dose. Some is more dose or some is less dose. So in this, we are just confirming that it is uniform or not, or according to a requirement or not. Next is container are weekly weight, and difference in the weight divided by number of dose dispersed give the average weight. In this one test, you can also perform that for accurate weighing with the check. And one test is assay test, and second test you just expel out the material and weight that particular material and reweight your container and check that a specific amount or average dose is present or not. Next is net content. In this net content, overall weight of your aerosol we are checking, and in this overall weight is how much weight, total weight, including your API and excipient present in your aerosol. So in net weight, tiered can that have been placed onto the filling line are weight, and difference in the weight is equal to the net content. Means in this first we can weigh the can in empty condition, and after filling the can with your formulation, we weight this particular container or can and check that how much difference takes place. This difference is your net weight or total weight of your formulation. This first to weigh your empty container or empty aerosol, and after that filling of the aerosol takes place, and after that filling you reweight your can or container and check how much materials filled. There's a difference between initial and final weight show the net content. And in destructive method, it is there's another method. In this destructive method, weighing a full container and then dispensing as much of the container as possible and contain R3. This is given net content. Yes, another test is you fulfill your container and fill with your formulation. After filling that, you discharge or expel out your material at a specific time period at repeated time, and as much as possible, maybe you empty your complete container, and after that weigh your container and how much material get expelled out through that container. This is also another test, destructive test. So there's a two tests. One test is before filling, or second is after filling. In before filling, you first feed the empty container. After filling, you again reweight. And in another method, you seal your aerosol with particular formulation and expel out the gas. And after that, you can weight that how much material get expel out, and empty clean container weight also. So this is a net content test. Next is foam stability test. So foam stability test means every aerosol or every formulation have a different foam stability or foam pattern. And in this, we are checking that when we apply the pressure, material get expel out and formulation get expel out. So how much time it get stable, or how much time it take to get liquidified. So in this foam stability method is visual evaluation. There's no specific machine or technique is required. For these foam stability, we are visually checking that particular formulation foam is stable or not. In this, time for given a mass to penetrate the foam, and time for the rod that is inserted into the foam to fall. Means when we apply the pressure, how much mass or how much form is get expel out at particular time, and then check that how much time it get stable by inserting the one rod into the foam to fall. And rotational viscometer is also used for checking this. Next test is for particle size determination. In your aerosol, there may be some formulation present, and this formulation have some particle size, or maybe depending on the different formulation, it has have a different particle size. So we are checking that particular particle size is uniform or not, or maybe small size or large size. According to different particle size, we are using different method, maybe cascade impactor, light scattering, decay. These are the two methods that are used for particle size determination. These two methods easily check the particle size which is present in a propellant, there's a uniform size or not, or maybe a small size particle or large size particle. So these two methods, cascade impactor as well as light scattering decay, can easily answer this test, and also explain that this uniform size or not, or in small size or large size. So this is particle size determination. Next is cascade impactor. This is another test for your aerosol. In cascade impactor, stream of the particle projected through a series of the nozzle and glass slide at a high velocity. Larger particles are imparted first on lower velocity range, and started velocity are collected in higher velocity state. So this is a chamber that you use for this cascade impactor. With the help of this chamber, you can easily check that test. In this, there is a one nozzle of your aerosol, and here's the internal section and collection of the pilot number, and hot stage number is this side. So in this, we are steam is particle applied, and when we apply the steam, particles are projected or float onto that particular container, and maybe go through the series of a nozzle. And in this condition, glass slide at a high velocity, larger particles are impacted first. Those particles who have a large velocity or larger particle size impacted first compared to a small or lower velocity stage particles. And then we collect the particle according to their particle size or viscosity stages, and can check that how much particle have a high viscosity or how much particle have a low viscosity. Other than this method, we can also use some another technique. And one is cascade impactor, second is light scattering decay. In this, we are presence of the light. We check that particular aerosol is according to requirement or not. In this light scattering decay, with the help of light is scattered, or how much light gets scattered out, we check. An aerosol settled under turbulence condition, the change in the light intensity of a tinol beam is measured. Means we are applying the certain light beam, and there may be some light changes when we apply the light onto the aerosol due to the viscosity or due to the particular formulation condition. So in this condition, when we apply the light, it changes the intensity, and tinol beam that is present or due to the formulation of your aerosol. And in this, we check or measure how much changes is applied, or how much changes is observed to that particular light intensity when we apply the light onto the particular formulation. Next is biological testing. In this biological testing, we are checking the therapeutic activity as well as toxicity. Means mainly a formulation are for therapeutic purpose or for particular disease. In this, we just confirm that these particular aerosol are showing therapeutic effect or required effect or not at particular concentration. As well, there is some toxicity is observed or not. It is a severe or only light toxicity, because if it's severe, then maybe you can say that rejected formulation, it may be chances that it show more toxic or severe effect to that particular person, otherwise overcome these problems. So in this biological test, we are just confirming the therapeutic activity as well as toxicity of your formulation of your aerosol. So in this first therapeutic activity, so in this therapeutic activity, for inhalation, aerosol dosage of the product is determined and related to particle size of the distribution. That's how much concentration of the particular dosage form or particular drug expel out after the inhalation of the aerosol. Mainly the aerosol for medicament is for emergency condition of the asthmatic patient, and you just inhale these aerosols. So in this condition, we are checking that how much inhalation dose in each and every time expel out, and this is determined by some test. And also you should make sure that these particle size and uniform in size or small particle size are delivered. So in this therapeutic activity, we just confirming that the specific required dosage effect is produced or not at particular concentration, as well as particle size distribution of your aerosol or your drug. Next is for topical aerosol. It is applied to test area, and absorption of the therapeutic ingredient is determined. means those aerosol which is not required for internal use, for maybe external use, or for topical local effect. In this condition, that test or specific material is applied and that particular specific area, and absorption of the therapeutic ingredient is determined, how much material that expel out to that particular area. So these therapeutic activity is mainly for two types of the formulation, two aerosol. One is inhalational aerosol, second is topical aerosol. In inhalational aerosol, we confirm that expelling out or inhaling material is according to specific high concentration or not, as well as particle size of your formulation. And in topical area, which is applied externally, in this we apply the particular concentration of aerosol in that specified area and check that these ingredient is how much present and easily absorb out or not, and how much time to get absorbed out and show the therapeutic effect of that particular drug. So this is a therapeutic activity. Next is toxicity. It is not necessary to present all the aerosol or show by all the aerosol. So this toxicity is mainly depend on the type of the aerosol or chemical or the ingredient used for formulation of the aerosol. So in this toxicity study for inhalational aerosol and topical aerosol, we are performing also these tests for both inhalational as well as external, that is topical aerosol. So in inhalational aerosol, exposing test animal to paper spray from the aerosol container means we are applying these material to animal paper animal with the help of paper spray of aerosol container and check that any irritation or any severe effect is produced or not that particular animal. If animal is safe and don't any severe effect or any dangerous effect is observed, then we can say that it does not produce any toxic effect, or very little amount of the toxic effect are produced, don't affect a particular person. So these tests are mainly performed first onto the animal, and after confirming onto the animal, we are just applying to human beings or come your formulation market. Next for topical aerosol. So this is another aerosol. In this we are applying on topical formulation. In this, irritation and chilling effect are determined, means you can easily spray these type of aerosol to a specific area or a specific part of your body. And after this spraying that particular amount of aerosol or drug, you can check that there's any irritation, chilling effect, redness, or severe illness, or maybe inflammation is observed or not. These type of side effect included in this toxicity after applying the topical aerosol. So this is a two test for biological testing, therapeutic testing, and toxicity testing. After completing this quality control test or evaluation of the in this learning outcome, brief introduction about the aerosol means what is the aerosol, different types of the aerosol, which ingredient or which chemicals or which gases you use, because these tests is dependent on the propellant also, which propellant you use or what is propellant. So after completing this lecture, you should know about brief introduction of the aerosol from a starting point to last point, how you use different chemicals, propellant that you use for formulation of the aerosol, as well as evaluation parameter of the aerosol. In evaluation parameter, we already discussed different tests, not only for container, but some test is only for aerosol or for team, or some for specific formulation that is present in your formulation, or some test is also for your material that you use, maybe for propellant or the discharge pattern, spray pattern, actuator, and valve. So you should know each and every quality control test or evaluation parameter of each. These are also not only for container but also actuator, ball, meter dose, or spray pattern, or particular can leakage test, spray test, or maybe flame test or compressibility or flash test. All these tests you should know in a detail with their procedure and how you perform and their specification. Some tests also have some physical chemical tests have a specification how you accept or which method to use for checking this physical chemical test. So you should know about these all the tests in detail, including their specification, and how much specification is accepted, and which method and which equipment you use for checking that particular test. So you should know about complete evaluation parameter of quality control test of the aerosol in this lecture. After this lecture or outcome, there's a reference part. All references are good. You can use anyone or all the combination references. So in this references, first is Ansel Pharmaceutical Dosage Form and Drug Delivery System 8 edition by Lloyds V. G. Popovich, Howard C. Ansel, published by BI Publication Pvt Limited. Next, second reference is Textbook of Physical Pharmaceutics by C.S. Subramaniam, published by Bhalla Prakashan. Next reference is the Theory and Practice of Industrial Pharmacy by Leon and Lackmans. Habert Lieberman, Joseph L. King, third edition, published by Vavassi Publishing House. Next last reference is Martin Physical Pharmacy, Pharmaceutical Science, fifth edition by Patrick J. Senko, published by Lippincott, William and Wilkin. So these are the all four references for aerosol, including introduction part, evaluation test. You can use all of the reference for good content. All books are all references are good for aerosol. Next is a question part. According to today's topic or according to these tests, we are also covered some questions. If you know about complete information regarding the aerosol from starting introduction part to your complete evaluation parameter, you can easily answer these questions. So in this first question is, under the ideal gas law, which of the following is not a correct assumption? Ideal gas law means propellant that is present in your formulation, and according to this ideal gas law, which is not correct option or correct assumption, all are correct. There's one is not correct. According to this question, you can select any one correct option, which is not correct assumption for this question. So in this, A option is molecule occupy an negligible volume. Base of gas volume are incentive to change in the pressure. C option is no energy is lost when molecule are collide. D is forces between the molecule are insignificant. So these are the four options for ideal gas law. And in this four options, three options are correct for ideal gas law. One option is correct. You can select any one correct option, which is incorrect for this assumption. And next, in second question, gases do not have a role in which of the following pharmaceutical operation. Gases are the main ingredient or major role played in aerosol. So in this question, we are checking that gases don't use or don't play any role in the which formulation, which pharmaceutical operation. So in this, A option is surface area measurement, B is lyophilization, C is distillation, and D is melting. So this is the four option. You can select any one correct option according to this question, or out of this four option, there's one option which is correct for this question. Next, in this question, for an aerosol inhaled to lung, which is following is not true. Means mainly these aerosol are medicated are for inhalational purpose and for emergency use like cardiac arrest or asthmatic patients. So these are show effect on the right liver lungs. So in this question, we are select any one correct option, which is correct for aerosol inhaled to the lung or used in this lung condition, which is not true. Means all four out of this four options, there are three options are correct or true, and one option is incorrect, which is not mentioned in two condition. So out of this four option, you can select a correct option, which is not true for inhaling the aerosol or gases into your lungs. So in this, A option is airflow become faster and more turbulence then apply deeply and penetrate the lungs. B option, the particle of 5 micron above the impact is proximal away airways. And C option is sedimentation is the major mechanism of deposition of the particle. And D option is pre-folding with enhanced deposition of submicron particle by diffusion. This is the four option for this question. You can easily answer this question. Next question is for pressurized metered-dose inhalator or PMDA, which of the following is not true. Pressurized metered-dose inhalator we already discussed. It is a specific amount of aerosol or type of the aerosol. In this, we are just setting or fixing the specific amount of the concentration when we apply the pressure, set or specific amount of the material that expel out. So in this question, we are discussing about pressurized metered-dose or what is the pressure metered-dose inhalator. In this four option, first option is pressurized metered-dose inhalator emit aerosol at high velocity. B option is pressurized metered-dose inhalator use liquefied gases as a propellant. C option is pressurized metered-dose inhalator may be formulated as a solution or suspension. D option is pressurized metered-dose inhalator cannot be used as a spacer. These are the four options for pressure dose meter inhalator. You know what is pressure dose meter inhalator and how you apply and the purpose, so that you can easily answer out of this four option which is correct for this PDMF pressure dose inhalator. Next question, which of the following is not true for typical dry powder inhalator or dosage form inhalator? So in this, we can select that any one correct option which is suitable for typical dry powder inhalator or DPI. So in this first option, DPI are the difficult for patient to coordinate. D is DPI require high energy airflow through device to aerosolize to powder. C option is DPI liberate fine powder particle from a carrier particle upon inhalation. D option is DPI may concern the powder unit dosage from or reservoir. So this is the four option for regarding typical dry powder inhalator. You can select any one correct option suitable for this question. Next question is which of the following is true for not true for jet nebulizer? In this, we are selecting what is jet nebulizer and which is suitable for jet nebulizer. In this option is jet nebulizer produce mist. Mist means particle size and small size and mist size. The option is jet nebulizer use high velocity gas flow to generate the Venturi effect of a drop solution into the airflow. Says jet nebulizer induce decrease in temperature of the nebulizer solution during operation. The option is jet nebulizer use ultrasonic forces to produce the aerosol. So this is the four option. In this, you can select any one correct option, which is not true for jet nebulizer. These three options are correct, and one is false or not true. You select any one which is not true for jet nebulizer. Next question in under ideal gas flow, which of the following is not correct assumption? A is the molecule of the negligible volume. B is the volume are insensitive to change in pressure. C is no energy is lost when molecules are colored. And D is the forces between molecules are insignificant. And next question, which of the following is not true for ultrasonic nebulizer? And in this A option is ultrasonic nebulizer are used in piezoelectric crystal vibrating at a high frequency to produce the aerosol. These ultrasonic nebulizer rarely on the heat thermally generate on the aerosol. C is ultrasonic nebulizer may not be suitable for formulation by pharmaceutical that degrade by heat. And D option is ultrasonic nebulizer produce aerosol from carefully formulated nebulizer solution. This is a question related to today's topic or aerosol. You can easily answer question after completing this aerosol. So thank you so much for watching and listening this video. Thank you everyone.